Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday. It's another beautiful, rainy, pouring down rain day here in Australia. I don't know what the weather's like over your way, but thanks for joining us on our weekly live stream. And it's cool to see a few people in the chat room already. So big shout out to everyone in there. We've got Hi to Inky, this is Renz, and also Michael B. Nice to see you again, Michael. Awesome. It's good to see that we've already got a few people into the stream already. Now today I didn't really get much of a chance to go into what we're going to do today, but I did plan on doing analog phaser pedals today, and yeah, I had a bit of a sad thing that happened as I was getting it all set up. So over here is my little setup, and you can see over here I've got the Boss BF2, the purple pedal. This is like the purple monster, this thing. And as I was setting up, I was going to show you this, and I was also going to show you the I'll just go back to my picture here. This one, the MXR Flanger, which is another beautiful analog pedal, but stupid me forgot to read the voltage on the back, and I think I've fried it. So that's very, very sad. That's about a $200 pedal going down the drain. I don't know. I might have to pull it apart and see if it's something small, but I doubt it. I think that one's cactus. Has anyone else done that? I mean, God, what a stupid rookie mistake that was. Who's start the stream off on a sour note, I guess. But yeah, anyone else fried a pedal by putting the wrong voltage? I mean, God, you know, Dunlop making these pedals 18 volts. It's crazy. Like, who does that? Just to trick me, eh? They're usually 9 volts, aren't they? I know how, and that, you know, wow. I don't know if you just heard that. Someone's done a burnout outside the. Jeez, it's absolutely like pouring down today here where I live. I said that at the start, but it's almost flooding. There's so much rain and water on the road, so it's probably just someone just doesn't know how to drive in the wet. Normally in Australia it's really dry. So anyway, sorry, I just got completely blown away by someone doing a burnout at the front of my place here. Yeah, like, pedals are not standard. Like Triple Eight Berg, big shout out to you too. So forgot to say hi to you. But you know, some of them are center negative and some of them are center positive, and usually I check that. But geez, 18 volts, come on. And also the big giveaway, I guess, on this one is that it's got the 2 9-volt in the bottom, and I kind of wasn't even looking. I don't know. I just think I'm stupid. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to look at the SH-01A. Sing out in the chat room if you guys have got an SH-01A boutique. This is actually probably my favorite boutique. I absolutely love this boutique. Now it might be a bit noisy. Yeah, you can hear the flanger. There's obviously some sort of noise going through that. It's very faint. Nothing's playing. It's very, very faint. I don't know if you guys can hear it. You might have to turn your volumes up. So yeah, there you go. We're going to get into that definitely. So yeah, that's what I was going to do. But yeah, maybe it'll be cut short anyway. So what's everyone been up to this week? What's you know, what's the flavor of the week? Well, you know, we've got some news, of course. We should probably get straight into the news. Let's get straight into the news. Okay, here we go. Ready, set, go. Hello, news. There we go. Computer was a bit slow just then. Okay, this isn't really news. Everyone's probably seen this thing before. This is the Electron analog drive. It's a guitar pedal. Speaking of guitar pedals, it's an analog guitar pedal. I love analog guitar pedals, if you haven't worked out. But this particular guitar pedal was going for an absolute steal this week, and it probably still is available. Not that I'm getting any kickbacks from anyone who's selling it, but if you probably live in the US, check out the major US retailers and you can pick one of these up for about $89, $99, somewhere around there. It's actually quite a nice pedal. Now, one of the things that I love about this pedal is that it's got MIDI on the back, and you can actually control it via MIDI commands. So you can use your Octatrack or you can use your MPC Live to send it commands, and it can change all sorts of settings on there. And it's not bad considering it's actually analog. So the whole interface is digital, but the actual sonic part of it is analog. So that's actually really cool. And I actually grabbed one. You know, I thought with all the exchange rate and postage and everything, it still worked out to be about half the price that you can get one for locally here. So yeah, if you guys like that sort of thing, I thought I'd bring it up because if I find good deals, I'll definitely pass them on to you guys. So that's the first bit of news. The next bit of news is coming right up. Not a great picture of this, but has everyone heard of this new thing coming out called the SP2400 by who's doing it? Isla Instruments, I think it is, that are doing this. So the SP2400 is based on the EMU, you know, the famous EMU sampler. I think it was called the 1200, the EMU 1200, and it's iconic when you think about electronic music probably in the last 20, 30, maybe even 35 years, that the way this thing produced or reproduced samples was actually really, really quite intriguing. And they've remade this thing, and it's going to behave and, you know, do everything in, right down to the real gritty 8-bit, 12, 16-bit, whatever type sounds that originally, you know, produced. But at the same time, you can then, you know, get it right up to 48K. So it can be modern and it can be true to its original sound. So yeah, I'm actually really, really looking forward to this. I don't know about the price tag. I think it's around about, I think you have to pre-order at the moment. It's around about 900, somewhere around there, US dollars or euros. Probably is not bad. I don't know what's good and what's bad, but I mean, don't forget, these are a small company and they're not mass producing stuff like this. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. There's a guy that was in our chat room last week called Ken, or Flux with it. He's actually going, I think he's got one of the demo models of this. He'll actually be showcasing it on his channel very, very soon. So a bit of a plug for him. So yeah, keep subbed to his channel and you'll be able to check that out. Rightio, next one is, I thought this one was actually really, really interesting. They announced this a while ago. Radical Technologies announced this synth called a Delta CEP A. It's a weird name for a synth, but what is probably cool about this is that it's paraphonic, which means it can play chords and everything, but it is also semi-modular, so it can go into Eurorack. It's insane what sort of features it's got. I think this is getting into that, you know, I always say when you buy synthesizers, you want them to start pushing newer territories. So this is one I think is starting to push the newer territory of sound design. It's got your typical stuff on here, but at the same time, it's got some pretty cool features. You know, it's what can I say? It's got a MIDI interface and everything, but it's, yeah. Where's the specs on this thing? I had a page up with all the specs. Where's it gone? Okay, here we go. So it can be pre-patched without the need for any patch cables, which as I was saying before, is semi-modular. But as you start plugging in, like all those semi-modular synths, it'll override any pre-patching. It features this thing called a snapshot system, which is what interested me, and basically it lets you store the states and settings of the synth, muck around with it, and then revert back, and then you can actually, it's kind of like saving patches in a way, but you can interpolate the synth between one snapshot to another. It's kind of like morphing, which I thought was kind of cool. Obviously, you know, it's got control voltage and MIDI, as I said before. It features this RT311 swarm oscillator. Now, if you're into Eurorack, you'll know this this oscillator. They've already released stuff on this as well. So yeah, paraphonic, by the way, I mentioned before, is 4 voices, so you can play chords up to 4 voices. Bearing in mind that it's paraphonic means that the envelope, the VCA and the filter is all for a single, so it passes all through a single. Kind of similar to the way the Behringer string machine works, and a few other synths that are paraphonic as well. Other than that, 12 dB multi-mode filter. Now it's got a stereo digital emulation of a filter as well, so it's got an analog and digital kind of emulation sort of thing in there. And the other thing about it too, which I think a lot of people are really intrigued in, is how snappy the envelopes are on this. They're very, very snappy. So I guess, and it's got some it's got some effects as well. So it's pretty big. Anyway, enough about that, because I'm sure you guys are interested in it. Just keeping a quick eye on the chat. Go back to me. There's the chat room. Geez, it's busy today in the chat room. So 888 Berg is saying electron heat is better than analog drive. Of course it is. It's like almost 10 times the price. So I mean, I just can't justify the price of the electron heat. The electron heat. I think it's beautiful, but yeah, wow, that thing's expensive. For my mind, it doesn't do enough for me to justify buying that. I wish it was cheaper. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get on to the next segment, and we'll get that over and done with, which is the funny side. I hope you guys like the funny side. Let me know in the chat room if you like it. I definitely will keep doing it if it's popular. Anyway, here we go. Funny side time. Having a sip of the coffee. Here we go with the first one. How doorless jamming works. Step 1, create anything you want. Step 2, look at all the money I'm gonna make. So yeah, that one I found. Credit on this one goes to Cindy. So if you guys know who Cindy is, you'll know exactly what I mean. She does quite a lot of memes. Okay, moving right along to the next one. Now this one is going to be tricky. I've got a couple of things to show, so let's get straight into it. This does it hurt? Yes. Stop buying any more synths or I'll punch you again. I thought that one was funny, but then this particular thread on Facebook got really kind of out of control, and then still totally worth it, getting punched again, and then of course blood and bruises and everything. Maybe just one more synth. Oh, that one was good. I really like that one. I mean, you can imagine reading this thread on Facebook. It was the first one, and then you scroll down and you saw, and there were different people putting these up. It was hilarious. Okay, moving right along, and this one absolutely got me laughing my head off. So here we go. Anyone seen a Jennifer Lopez filter? Oh my god, that one absolutely got me. That one was pretty good. So us geeks will definitely relate to all of these things. I think I'm probably going to do like what are we up to? Stream number 14. It's probably almost ready to do like a montage of all the funny sides, and we can just pop it all together, make a quick 5-minute video out of it. I mean, the people that put these together have got some amazing sense of humours. Absolutely. Cool. All right, so let's get ready for the next part. You know what I'd love? I'd love it if chat had a voice. Like, it's got text, but it'd be cool if people could have a voice. And so one of the reasons why I love to have guests on the live stream, the Skype call guests. I mean, I don't have one today, but that's cool because people were busy. But But it would be really cool if we had voice on the chat. I think it's something that would make this live stream much better. Okie dokie. So here we are with an SH-01A, and as you guys know, I've got the Behringer MS-101, which is sitting next to my left ear, right there. I'm just headbutting it. That way, just above my hand, right there. It's fine, it works great. I'll have to say that the SH-01A is definitely different in a few ways, and I don't know, maybe Roland were a bit more accurate in some respects than the Behringer clone. I think, yeah, I would have to say the filter's probably closer on the digital emulation than it is on the analog emulation. I don't know. That's just my understanding anyway. But one of the things that I love what they've done here is you can play an arpeggiator on this, right? So let's just get one going. Okay, let's. And you can hold the arpeggiator, right? And then you can transpose the arpeggiator. So, you know, to me that is such a cool feature, and you can obviously do the transposing on the sequencer on this as well. But on the arpeggiator, that's so cool. And I think the arpeggiator on this is very basic. It just does down, up and down and up. But that transpose and hold feature just makes it so musical. Can it store presets? Yes, it can. You have presets on this. So you just hit menu and then the first option. I'm not going to go into the presets because I actually like this patch that I've stored. There's banks of 8, and I think there's 8 banks of 8, so that's 64 presets that you can store on here. Because it's digital, you can do heaps of stuff on here. It's also 4-voice polyphony as well, which the original SH-0101 wasn't, of course. But this is not about the specs of the SH-01A. What this is about is using this in different ways. Now, what I've got here in front of me is the BF2 Boss flanger pedal. Now, this particular pedal was made in the 1980s, this actual pedal. So, and how I know a lot about these purple pedals. I did a video on this about a year or so ago, and did some research into these, and they're actually really interesting. You can tell a lot about these pedals just by, let me just unplug it so I can show you something on here. Okay, so in the tiny little square where you can see me, you can see that is a black label, right? And then on the front, those knobs are all black. Okay. So how do you, and also I should mention too, that down the bottom here, it's hard to see, here we go, get it to focus. It says made in Japan there, up that way. So they made these in Japan probably up until about 1984, I think, and then they started making them in Taiwan after that, and then I think it went to Thailand after that. So the ones that are made in Japan have some Sanyo chip in them, and then when they started making them in Taiwan, they changed the chip, and I think I've heard the one that's made in Taiwan, I don't think it sounds quite as good. Now this is very basic, so you know, you have to really know what the flanger pedal would sound like. But yeah, they also change colors too. I think they got I think the original one that first came out was actually pink, but they stayed purple. If you actually do have a pink one, you're very lucky. They are quite rare. There is also another version of this pedal, but it's digital. So be careful if you're looking for like retro pedals. Make sure you get the analog one. The reason why you want the analog one is because it's got the BBD chip in it, which gives you all of that cool. Let's just do noise through it so you can hear the flanger on its own. Okay, and we'll give it a. So there you go, there is your jet aeroplane. Anyone wants to ever do sound design, there you go, it's how you do a jet airplane. So you can just imagine the jet flying past. Pretty cool. You can make some really cool sounds with flanger pedals. Okay. Okay, let's get that sustained down. I love how snappy the envelopes are on the SH-01A and also the original. Wow, listen to how snappy that envelope is. Add some warmth, you can add the sub oscillator in to give it a bit of warmth. Without. And without delay. And just with the flanger but without delay. And add the delay in again. Agrees that is just a beautiful sound. I mean, just a single synthesizer with a flanger pedal and a delay. I mean, how simple is that? But how beautiful is that sound? Have I scared anyone away? Everyone's quiet. Okay, let me have a look what's been written in the chat room. I haven't been watching it. Axel Soft, how you going, mate? I forgot to say hi to you. Inky's giving me a high five. Awesome. I play live. So SH-01A versus MS-101. Okay, so you know there's a video. I think what's his name? There's a YouTuber that did a video, and he compared. Well, he did a video called "Why I Love the SH-01A." 888 Berg. So go watch that video and you'll find out what, you know, this guy does a better job than me on, you know, I'm not a real reviewer, I'm more just a hacker, just like all you guys. But my opinion, I like them both. I like them both. I don't know. If I was, you know, held at gunpoint and said, right, you must choose one. I'd probably choose the SH-01A. Yeah, I know it's crazy because I love analog stuff, but this, for some reason, just sounds so good. And I think the only thing I don't like about it is Roland need to sort out the ground loop noise issue that they've got with their USB. So right now I've got this powered off of a battery unit, because if I power that off of say the USB port on my PC, or if I plug it into one of those mobile phone USB charger things to give this thing power, it will give me a ground loop noise. So that means then I would have to add a DI box for the output. I can use a passive or an active DI box, but I just think, you know, why can't they fix stuff like that on expensive gear? That should not be giving me a ground loop noise. I know it's technically not Roland's fault why I'm getting ground loop noise. It's probably my setup, but everybody just about will come across ground loop noise, and they have to learn how to avoid it. Whereas I think a lot of people could just build in stuff into the technology to prevent it. And really all it is that a lot of electronic devices are made these days on the cheap, and they use common ground. So the USB ground power will be going and passing all the way through into the earth on the audio output. So that's where you get the ground loop happening, and it's just a bad electrical design. That's all it is. So this is what's powering the SH-01A right now. If I was to unplug that USB cable, she would turn off. In fact, let's do it so you can hear what ground loop noise sounds like. So you can see now it's completely turned off. By the way, out of interest, this thing here is actually pretty cool. When I had that plugged in, this was actually telling me on here how much watts the Boutique was actually taking. So let's do that again. Is it going to turn on for me? Here we go. Okay. Can you guys see that? How good's the camera on this thing? Here you go. 1.6 watts, 1.4, 1.5, 1.4. That is a tiny amount of electricity that thing is drawing. And then let's just run this thing. Let's get the arpeggiator going. It's not moving. 1.3, 1.6. Move the filter. Not changing at all. So the amount of power this thing is sucking out is minimal. So yeah, just so you guys know, there's a bit of trivia for us. All right, let's go back to the issue that I was having. Ground loop noise. Now I'm going to plug this into my my MacBook. I'm just going to choose a blank USB spot. There we go. Can you guys hear that? I'll mute that channel on the mixer so you can hear it go off. Sing out in chat if you can hear that. I'm going to toggle it mute and off. Annoying, isn't it? And it's all, I mean, we could put a spectrum analyzer into that and find out what frequencies that's running at, and we could EQ it out, and we could just do stupid things like that. But yeah, I don't know if you agree with me, But if you're buying gear, it shouldn't do that. Especially a professional electronic music company shouldn't be making that noise. Now, all I'm doing is plugging it into my Mac, and then I'm plugging that into a guitar pedal, and then that goes into a mixer. You know, it's not like I'm doing anything stupid. This is what everyone else in the world does. So it's to do with, like I said before, electrical ground being used in these devices. They use a common ground, and as a result, that audio noise that you can hear is getting passed through everything, and it's shocking. Now, it doesn't go through the digital. So if you use the SH-01A via USB and record it digitally, because it's got its own digital interface, audio interface, it doesn't go through that. It's only when you use the analog output on this that it does that. So that's kind of crap. Anyway, let's get back to the flanger pedal, because that's what we were talking about. Right. Oh, I love doing that sort of stuff to synths. Okay, what kind of questions have we got? Yeah, it's terrible. You can do VST. Yes, you can. You can definitely do an SH-01 VST from Roland's what do you call it, cloud thing. Does it sound the same as this? Probably. I don't know. I'm a tactile person. I like interfaces. I like to play with interfaces. Yeah. I think he's saying, especially as they sell as an interface as well. Am I wrong? Yeah, they do. It's actually an audio interface. Everything is, you install drivers and everything, but everything comes out the back of this via like a digital interface. So it's like a left and right channel, 2-channel interface, and MIDI sequencing and everything in there as well. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Don't think it's just Roland though. We won't be bashing Roland here. It's not just Roland that are doing this. There's a lot of hardware manufacturers that make synthesizers that are doing this, and it's because whoever's making these circuit boards and these USB power type, they're all kind of common plug-in devices that they manufacture, and they all just borrow the same circuits from everyone. They're not putting really good quality, that sort of stuff that prevents noise and ground loop and all that sort of stuff isn't being put into it. Now, an absolute professional musician will probably tear shreds out of me and say, hey, Ranzee, you are supposed to be able to sort this crap out yourself, so don't blame Roland. Well, I'm not necessarily saying that I can't, because I know I can. I've got DI boxes here. What I'm saying is that there's people out there that don't know how to sort this stuff out, and yeah, they can find out and they have to go and research it and all that, but what I'm saying is electrically it actually is pretty easy to solve, so they should be doing that. Do I have an overdrive pedal that I can put in front of the flanger? Not kind of in a quick go and grab while you're doing a live stream. Yes, I do have an overdrive pedal, but it's locked away. Ori's saying he means, can you take the VST like the 01 and compare them? Yeah, we could do that. Absolutely. Who wants me to do that? Who wants to grab? We can actually do that. That's actually a really good idea. It won't have the flanger through it, and it won't have the delay through it, so let's do that. Oh, I'm getting a MIDI error on here. Look at that. Just hit exit. If I change the tempo on that, yeah, it's changing instantly. On there to there. That's really cool. I've got this MIDI connected. Alright, so turn that off. That's just, there's no flanger. Right, now we're going to need to launch Ableton. I hope you guys don't mind if I use Ableton. I know some of you don't use Ableton, but yeah, that's all I've, well, not all I've got, but it's what I want to use here. Let me see if I've got my Mac running. There you go. You guys can see my Mac launching here. All right, so we're gonna get all that sorted out. I'll just go back to this while I do. It's gonna launch a couple of VSTs here. Did you chat amongst yourselves, everybody, while I get? No, I'm just kidding. Where are we? VST. Actually, what am I doing? I can show you guys when I'm doing this. Where's Roland? Oh, I might just use. I can't see half of this stuff. God, look how many VSTs I've got. It's crazy. SH. Is it there? Maybe I don't have it installed. Roland Cloud. Okay, it's definitely available. Wait, let's go back to here. I need to go to my Roland Cloud Duvalaka, and that Duvalaka is a really technical word. Where are we? Roland Cloud. Hello, Roland Cloud. Probably going to make me log in. This forms really great live streaming, doesn't it? Watching me. You forgive me for using Ableton. I just upgraded to 10, and I'm still pissed off that I even the upgrade price was quite cheap. But yeah, why do we have to pay for upgrades? I'm hoping this is going to let me in because I can't remember my password or anything. Of course. That seemed to work. What's the bet? I log into this Roland Cloud Manager and it will want me to do an update. Here we go. Whee! Instruments. This is exciting, isn't it? Let's scroll through Roland Cloud. Whereabouts is the SH-01A? Oh no, see, it's got an update. Don't give me an update. Legendary? SH-101. Okay, while that's doing that, we'll come back to here and we'll talk amongst ourselves. The small stone phaser, if I remember right. What's the difference in sound with the Boss flanger pedal and a small stone? So Sonic J73, the small stone is a phaser and this is a flanger. So they're two completely different effects, but they're both in the modulation effects category. And just need to put my password in. Yeah, so both the small stone and the flanger are both analog effects, but they both work in the in that sort of modulation type effects category, as I said before. But a flanger will typically use a bucket brigade delay or a BBD chip, like a chorus does. So flangers and choruses are very closely related. In fact, they're technically the same thing. And whereas a phaser works differently. Phasers work by kind of copying the waveform and then playing it back at a different phase, which gives you that sort of wobbling effect that phasers give you. It sounds more like a sort of, can sound like a laser gun. It can slow right down. Jean-Michel Jarre used to slow his phasers right down, and it gives you a very slow, sweepy sort of, like a filter sweep almost when you slow them down. Updates on live streaming. It's finished doing the update. Let me see. Okay, it's done the update. So you guys saw that. Now, I wonder if I need to restart live. Probably. And then if everything's good, we should have an SH-01A. He says with crossed fingers. Roland Cloud. Yay! Oh, hang on, you guys can't see what I'm doing. There it is, SH-01A, before I even dragged and dropped it into here. Now what's the bet? It doesn't work. Oh, come on, I just authorized you, stupid. Yes, it's authorized. Now go away. Right. So, I don't have a keyboard connected right now. So, what can we do? We're gonna have to use the USB. Which means I'm going to have a little bit of ground loop noise, yay. It's not too bad, is it? Alright, let me see if I can get this to work. Cool. Alright, next job we've got to do is go into here and mute everything. Just mute everything. Right, tell me if that's too loud. No, that's fine. Okay. Now with the Roland Cloud version, you've got all these patches here. I don't know if I want to do that. I want to set my own patch up. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and replicate what I've got on the other thing here. So let's go to this. So we want to use kind of this as a bit of a template. We're going to try and get it as close as possible as this. So that means I'm going to want to take that down, put that up, that down. No modulation yet. That's all down. That's fine. Okay, VCF. VCF has an envelope and VCA has an envelope. Okay. Alright, this is going to be painful. Alright, so we want, and also our VCF frequency is a knob, and so you can see on here it's a slider, and on here it's a knob. So we're going to have to try and guesstimate that's about half, just below half. There. Envelope was about there. Keyboard's fine. Now the envelope, let's make that the same. So, well, that's really high because that's high there. There we go. And a bit of release, and we want this to be the same. Okay, the envelope trigger is going to be that. Yep, that's fine. We don't want any effects, so effects are off. Now we need this to give it a bit more of a release. All right. And then we want this to be the same. So we're going to need to have input coming in from channel 9 and 10. Okay, we're set up, guys. Right, so you can see on the screen I have got go to here. So I'm using this keyboard, and that's the only keyboard that I've got plugged in at the moment. And on the Ableton Live, I've got the VST running here. There's the VST. And let's get rid of these other channels that we're not using. So it looks very, very simple. So we've just got the two. Now you'll notice that the audio is coming into either, and I can switch them off independently. So that's now the hardware, and that is now the VST. Right, now we've got to get them to sound the same. I don't know if I can do this. The pressure's on, everyone. Is my envelope running on my... Yeah, there we go, that's better. Alright, let's see if it sounds similar. I would say that we need to turn the volume down a little bit on the other one. They're very similar. I mean, I'm not going to get it exact. That's the VST. And this is the boutique. I mean, I probably haven't quite got the envelope and everything sounding exactly the same. Let's play with it a bit more. Let's try. There you go. I got it pretty close, didn't I? What do you guys reckon? Pretty close? VST. Hardware. Just so you can see that it's definitely hardware that I'm doing. So the VST's turned off, okay? And then go to here. And this is the volume control. Alright. I just buggered that up. Okay. The analog father sound. Filter sound? Every time I see a synth VST with a photo of hardware, I want to grab the knobs and sliders with my fingers. Yep. Now technically I can, the way Roland have set this up, I can actually set up my boutique to control the VST as well. And I probably should have done that because it would have made it much easier. MIDI mapping there. No, I thought there was a boutique. MIDI control input there. That could be it. Let's see if that... No, that's not changing it. Yeah, I need to probably work it out. There's probably a setting, someone in the chat will probably know, but you can actually set these things up to the hardware on this to control your VST, and then you can have exactly the same, everything is exactly the same as this. I've forgotten how to do it because it's been so blimmin' long since I've touched VSTs. I'm actually not a big VST person, so you're really getting me into a kind of shaky ground area. But anyway, someone asked and I delivered. So yeah, are we having MIDI errors still? There we go. So, getting back to this flanger pedal, which is basically what we were supposed to be doing all along, was you'll notice across the top here you've got these knobs. So the top left one is like a manual sort of thing, and you can kind of manually, you know, change your flangey sounds like that, but it doesn't. When you set it manually, it'll still do its rate and its phase and everything. So it doesn't kind of change the settings. It's just a manual control that you can adjust yourself. Then you've got depth. Now depth is a good one because it's kind of like an LFO depth. That's right to the max. Now that's the rate. And so you can see it as you adjust the depth, it just about fades out to nothing. So it's very analog in its controls. I would, you know, there are times when you are twisting these knobs and you've put it somewhere and it doesn't do the same thing as when you had it there last, which is very typical of an old analog thing. And the last one is resonance. Now resonance is what makes this flanger pedal sound so rich. So that's half. Listen to that. Let's turn poly on. Poly. So that's with the delay on, just to sort of let you hear the flanger kind of in your ears more. And I personally think a delay and a flanger are almost like husband and wife, if you want to say it. But you can also make this thing very, very tremolo-y. Try it with a delay. So that's really changing the way the SH-01A would ever sound. There's no way the SH-01A would ever sound like that. But technically you could get something similar using an LFO on this, but you're not going to get that kind of phasey sort of flangey sort of sound as well with it. And you might actually want that kind of crazy sound out of this pedal. When you think about it, this is just a very, very, very basic guitar pedal, and I'm actually using it probably with something that they never intended this was to ever be used with. So yeah, one thing I will say is those who have joined the channel, we've got a sad situation here. We lost the MXR flanger to me being stupid. I don't know if you can see that. It says 18 volts. I plugged something else into it today and I think it smells a bit funny. I think I've fried it. So you know, we'll have a funeral next week. I'll definitely be cracking a beer open and having a wake. No, I'm gonna fix that. I love that pedal. That pedal, for those playing along at home, if anyone knows that pedal, you will definitely know that is the pedal that Giorgio Moroder used in that famous song called Chase. So, I mean, it's in millions of other, not millions, but hundreds of other songs as well. But it's a very, very famous pedal. Yeah, RIP MXR Flanger. How many pedals do I have? Probably more than 20, but not more than 30. I don't know, I haven't counted. I do have, on my website, I do have a gear list page. So it's just ranzee.com. You can go and have a look. There should be most of the stuff on there. I haven't updated it for a while though. There's a few things that I haven't put on there. The latest pedal that I've got, that I bought, is, I mean, obviously I bought the analog Heat, which hasn't arrived yet, but the latest pedal I bought is this one. It's another phaser. I love phaser pedals. Let me go to this so you can see bigger version. The MXR Phase 99. Now this is actually a Phase 90 pedal times 2 built into one box. And you'll notice that on one side it's single input, and on the other side, I'm having trouble. There you go. Dual output. So this essentially is 2 Phase 90 pedals, and you've got separate speed controls on this, and so you can get the phases to happen in both in a kind of stereo effect. This is really, really cool. So, and you can see behind it I've got the Moog phaser as well, which does the same, kind of the same thing, but it sounds different again. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that Phase 99 pedal. It's actually beautiful. So currently I've got a video that I'm setting up at the moment. I'm doing, you can see here behind me, that's the string machine from Behringer, and then I've got the 2 phaser pedals. So I'm doing part 2 of my phaser pedal shootout, and that's going to come very, very soon. I haven't quite finished shooting it yet, so you guys are getting a bit of a sneak peek there. Xils-labs reckons it can be fixed. Probably can. I haven't opened it up. He's talking about this. I'll definitely open it up and have a look in there. It might just be a diode or a capacitor or something burnt out, and I can just, it's probably all surface mount though, but yeah, I can have a look in there. And if it's fixable, I'll let you guys know next time anyway, for sure. The Moog Elec Lady is a very nice cheap electric mistress clone. I don't know about that one. Let's do comparing versus virtual flanger. Nah, let's not do that. Yeah, no. Digital flangers will never, ever, ever sound as good as analog flangers. I don't care what anyone says. They don't sound at all as good. Hi Charlie, how you going? Nice of you to join us, mate. There is also an MXR Phase 95, which has 2 phases in one. Yes, there is. But I don't think the Phase 95 is the same phaser as the Phase 90. Now don't forget, the Phase 90 is the MXR's famous phase pedal that a lot of people used in the 70s and 80s. So it's a famous pedal. So the Phase 99 is 2 Phase 90s, whereas the Phase 95 is a different phaser. I don't even know if it's analog either, but yeah, you guys can check that out. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% up with all the phaser pedals and everything. Have I missed anything? So yeah. So what do you guys think of? Let me go back to here. What do you guys think when you're sort of mucking around with your synths and your effects pedals? What are some of the combinations that you like to do with effects? I mean, I know some of you said that you like to do it inside your DAW, which we could definitely do. You could probably do a bit of both. In fact, let's just have a quick look at that while we're doing that. Where are we? Mac desktop over here. So you guys can still hear me, but you can't see me. But that's okay, I'm still here. Now, what I wanted to show you is if I go to this, now I'm just going to mute that VST channel, but this is the audio. And you can still hear that I've got the phaser pedal and I've still got the delay effects on. So I'm going to change and turn off the delay effects. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in my own delay effects digitally, and I think I might have a pan delay. Yeah, let's do that one. Oops. Okay. Yeah, so that's just doing the same thing. So this delay pedal here on the left is digital, and this delay pedal, well, not delay pedal, this delay effects down here is digital as well. So that makes absolutely nothing worse or better at all in that sense, because they're both generating a delay, and I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I do like analog delays, but they sound more like those tape delays and things like that. So different sound altogether. Sometimes I like the perfectness of the digital delays. So there you go. There's a combination of analog effects coming out of a output into an analog out, going into a mixer, and then going through the mixer into a DAW, and we're using digital effects in the DAW. So you got, you can do all that sort of cool stuff. If you didn't, now you know. Flanger and reverb, yeah, let's do that. In fact, why don't we do an absolute beautiful reverb? Let's turn all that off. We're going to go into plugins, and I'm going to use the Eventide Black Hole. Who's heard of this one? This is a beautiful plugin, and we'll use the black hole, actual black hole itself. Where is it? Under an insert, there. Let's try and get this more paddy sounding. And that would just go on and on and on forever. So Charlie's saying that he uses the SH-01A with a Zoom multi-stomp, the MS70 CDR. It's very, very, very cool pedal, that one. The MSC70 CDR. I've got a similar one. It's actually there it is. There he's saying it's a MS 100 BT or something. It's very similar. It's a Bluetooth version of the same thing, and you can actually download and install the same algorithms that the 70 CDR has. So yeah, the Zoom pedal is actually really cool, and it's multi-effect. You're right. So you can chain effects inside it. The only thing negative about that pedal is some of the effects will chew up that pedal's internal CPU, if you want to call it. It's got a little computer in there, and it really, you can actually get that thing to glitch out. So don't overload that pedal with too many real big modulation type effects like the big ambient reverbs, big long tails. It'll just chew up the resources of that pedal. TB303 sound and SH-01A. You can-ish, but it's not going to be the same. Not quite the same. You can. And that's really that squelchy sort of filter sound. So you'd have to, if you wanted to get sort of the true acid sound, you'll have to start adding the drive to it and everything, but you can. Turn the flanger off. Sorry about that. And we want more of a... And probably... Alright, so we want to put a drive on this, and I don't want to blast your ears out. What can we do? Ableton effects are a bit shit, but anyway. Overdrive. Overdrive, here we go. And it's got a distortion. We'll try it. Now, turn this down because it's going to blast your ears. Yeah. Ori, am I getting close to the TB303? Let me know. I mean, you can play with these things, so you know, I forgot to turn that over there. So I just had quite. I mean, the trick to 303 is just lots of resonance. So you're getting that. You're getting the filter to sing. That's the trick to a 303. Yeah. Can VST plugins make hardware redundant? Yeah, they can. I think there's going to be a time in the future where the digital versus analog thing may actually be non-existent. Maybe, I don't know. For now, I don't know. At the moment, I think there's definitely a difference in the sound of analog circuits versus digital circuits. I still don't think digital have quite got it, but there's people that would argue against that. And when you start producing multiple sounds and you're putting them in a track and you've got multiple tracks, you're not even going to notice it. So if you're going down that rabbit hole, I guess Triple Eight Berg, I think you're probably right. I think you could just produce everything in the box. I don't know, but for me, I kind of like playing with hardware. For me, it's kind of fun. It's like playing a musical instrument is you're kind of really just, you're controlling it with your hands, and it's so different when you're controlling something with a mouse. To me, it's just not the same thing, and lots of people have said the same thing. And I've heard lots of people say that when you're playing with a mouse, you're not getting that. So yeah, you could get a MIDI controller, and then you could have that control software on your computer, and that might achieve the same thing. But yeah, hardware definitely feels different. But in this particular argument, we could probably safely say that the VST and this boutique technically would be the same, wouldn't it? So, I mean, this is a digital thing, so it should be the same. So effectively, do you need to buy this? Or would it be okay just to have... I've got to be quicker on my clicks, don't I? Would it be okay just to have that? I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it? Who disagrees? Is that the same thing as that? I think it's the same. Paying silly prices for controllers, yeah, they can be absolutely crazy, so yeah. Anyway, so what are we up to? It's 11:09 PM over here, so we've been going just over an hour, and I think we've covered the flanger pedal. I'm really sorry that we didn't get to cover that one too, because yeah, I wonder if I can do something here. Right, Just give me a sec. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find... I did a recording. Okay. The best way to do it is straight into Ableton. Let's go into Ableton and launch it. I recorded something with that MXR pedal, and I think it was the Chase song that I tried. It wasn't a very good example of it. I think I was just mucking around. Did I do that? There it is, Chase. I did find it. So say goodbye to all of those things that we just did in Ableton, because I've just said don't save. That's okay. All right. Now what is this going to sound like? So that's the sound of the MXR flanger, which I keep showing you guys. You can definitely hear a difference in sound. That flanger sounds completely different. You guys are talking about some songs, but yeah, did you guys just let me just play that? Where are we? How do we get to here? There it is. It sort of has this, it kind of has this thing where it gets to the bottom of the flange, you know, curve, if you want to call it. It sort of like just disintegrates. It goes, and then it comes back out again. It's actually pretty cool. How do I get it back? So here, disintegrates, and then it comes back out, and it's disintegrating. So there you go. That's the MX. That's what the MX are. If you guys are trying to post links to SoundCloud and stuff like that in the chat, I don't think YouTube allows it. It's not something that I've set. I just think it's just the way it is. But yeah. When the video finishes and it uploads, automatically YouTube will upload it to my channel. You can post your link in there, and I'll let everyone else see it in there. Yeah, Xils-labs is saying it's Harmonix. Yeah, it is. It's all kind of, but this particular flanger pedal doesn't do that. So, hang on a sec. We've got to go back to here. Turn it off. Turn that on. Whoa! No, don't do that. Sorry guys. Sorry about your ears. Audio track. Okay, and why aren't we getting output? Audio, yeah, we should be getting output. Doesn't matter. Let me fix something up. Go back to here. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get my thing to go down again. So it kind of does, but it does it differently. So I think the thing that the MXR pedal does makes that kind of very, very, yeah, sorry about your ears, that kind of very well-known sort of disintegration where, like Axel says, at the bottom with the harmonics kind of going all crazy. Be interesting to see what it looks like as a what do you call it? A spectrum. Can we do the spectrum in this? Yeah, let's try that. Now, can I make that spectrum bigger? Is that it? Yeah, there it is. So you guys, let's watch the spectrum. So you can see on that spectrum, if I can show you with my mouse, you can see the flanger is traveling, the harmonics is traveling up and down the audio spectrum from different frequencies. You can actually see it doing it. You see it doing it there. So it's always good to check out your, you know, what's happening audio wise. Definitely. Absolutely awake now. Cool, cool. Anyway, flangers, SH-01s, you know, and like I said, I really, really wish I could have had this one because that was part of the plan, but maybe I can get this fixed in next week. By the way, this thing is really, really, really heavy. This is a massively heavy pedal. Do any of you guys in chat have one of these? This is really, really solid, this thing. It's like, by the way, there's two different versions of this too. There's one that's only got the 2 knobs on it, and this one's got 5. Sorry, 4. What am I saying? And that's one of the reasons why you go with this particular. I think it's called the M117R. I think that's, should say it here somewhere. Or doesn't? I don't know. I think it's the M117R anyway. If you're wanting to know what that one is, and don't do what I did and plug a different voltage in it. It's just not smart at all. Phases and ARPs is 80% of your channel, is it? Wow. Phases and ARPs. Yeah, well, speaking of phases, let's not show how big our phaser pedals are, but this has to be my favorite phaser pedal. I love this pedal. It's not the best phaser pedal in the world, but it's definitely up there. And one of the things I love about this pedal is on the back, you've got two, which side is it? I can't actually see. Yeah, so here, you've got actually 2 outputs. So what it does is it phases the output. So you can actually have like a stereo output on this thing, which is similar to what that MXR pedal does. But the other thing this phaser pedal does is it's 6 stage and 12 stage, which means all your phasings have 6 stages or 12 stages. So the 12 stage sounds very, very similar to a ARP Quadra phaser. Very, very similar. I think the ARP Quadra phaser had a couple more stages to it. And the 6 stage sounds like a small stone, but probably with more features. Come with a warning, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know me, I'm into my phasers. I've got probably about 7 or 8 phaser pedals, and they're all analog. So yeah. The phaser standoff. That's not the best phaser pedal out there. I mean, gosh, there's some really, really crazy phaser pedals. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but that people would just die to have. Yeah. While you guys are chatting, I'll see if I can try and remember one. Bank balance about to get lower. Absolutely. Well, by the way, they don't make those Moog anymore, so that kind of sucks, you know. Yeah. So yeah, what I'm trying to do is trying to think of the name of the phaser pedal that I loved. Where was it? Anyone in chat can think of the name of it and come up with it before I do. I'll give you a gold star. Yeah, there's the Neutron phaser is a really good one. And some of these you just can't get. And Vactrals are good. I'm trying to think. There's another one. So there's one that I want to make, and it's a kit by a company called Build Your Own Clone, and they make this thing called the Royal or Phase Royal, and it's got six knobs across the top. It's got output, regen, mix, depth, rate, input, but also when you build it, you've got the option of having, I think, 4 or 5 different modules in it. So it could be that you want it to be a small stone clone, or it could be that you want it to be a mammoth, or all these different types of kind of phaser thoroughbreds that have been out there. You can go like nuts into this subject, by the way. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. There was definitely another one that I can't think of at the top of my head that I absolutely loved. But Axelsoft will probably tell me, because I know he knows his phasers. There's even Russian phaser pedals out there anyway. So anyway, without getting into that, you know, key sluttiness for the win. Absolutely. We need like we need to have like a stream where we've got like 4 or 5 people on Skype and we're all just comparing phaser pedals. Wouldn't that be just so super nerdy? I've lost like about 5 people in the stream since I started going into phaser pedal nerdiness. Everyone's disappearing. That is so funny. Doesn't worry me, because it's what I love. Yeah, but there's a thread on a website. If you search in analog phaser pedal, I think Geersluts it is. There's a thread on there, and it goes into so much detail about all the different phaser pedals you can get and how cool they are. And like Triple A Burke is saying, my phase is bigger than yours. I think we just. What do you think, guys? I think we're just going through a phase at the moment. Sorry, really bad joke. So yeah, we are definitely all nerds. Absolutely. Just the saddos left. Yeah, that's right, Inky. That's the lesser nerds. Anyway, I was talking. Speaking of pedals, I was talking about the analog drive pedal from Electron, which I said that you can get cheap at the moment. Where was it? I had it on the news segment, didn't I? Let me see if I can get that up for you again. There, that one. I wanted to show you the back of this thing, actually, if I can. I wonder if it'll let me do this. Let me just quickly, give me a sec, guys. I know it's not the greatest thing to do in the middle of a stream, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Let's change this to this to this, and then as I'm changing it, you can't see anything because I haven't let you see it yet. Come on, where are you? Let me change it. Yep, there. And as you can see, I'm trying to make it smaller. Why is that not letting me do it? This is terrible. Dearie me. I think my my streaming software, I don't know if you guys can probably see that now, right? Sorry, it's disappearing off the screen. On the back of this pedal, this is what I was telling you guys in the news. Yeah, it's working now. It's got the MIDI in and MIDI out. So the reason why it's got MIDI in, as you knew before, is because you can control the actual pedal via MIDI. And the reason why it's got MIDI out is because you can plug something else in, and it sends all the MIDI stuff through, so it doesn't mangle any of the MIDI or anything. So you can kind of use CC messages to control this pedal, and at the same time you can send notes through it, and it will go through into your synth. And at the same time, it also has control voltage as well. So it's got expression pedal inputs for both gain and mid. So anyway, just thought I'd show you, because that is actually super cool for a distortion pedal. Hello, Norman. Norman Fernandez, keyboard player. So Norman, you've just told us, everyone, what you are. So Norman, you can't be a guitar player, because you've just, yeah. If you decide one day that you want to be a guitar player, you can't, unless you change your nick on the internet. No, I'm just joking, mate. Nice to have you in the chat. Definitely cool to have you here. We've just been talking about, you know, phaser pedals and flanger pedals, and I've been playing, speaking of keyboards, I've been playing with this huge keyboard here. Massive keyboard. It's probably one of the biggest keyboards you've ever played. No, that's called sarcasm. But we've been playing it through the phaser, and then you can have delay effects. So there you go. And I think on that really petty note, we're just about finished on the live stream. Who reckons we should probably wrap it up here? Next week we may have a Skype guest. I've got somebody who's thinking about joining us, which would be cool. If not, any of you guys are interested in joining my live stream as a Skype guest, definitely hit me up with a message. My what do you call it? Social media things are below me there. Twitter and Facebook, and even on this channel, you can find my email address and email me direct. And yeah, the topic for next week hasn't been set either, so you guys can set the topic, bearing in mind I have to be able to show the topic here somehow. So if you're going to ask me to review the Moog 1, unless you buy me a Moog 1, actually, yeah, go buy me a Moog 1 and then I'll review it for you. No, it has to be something that I've got. And if you're wondering, if you want to know what I've got a gear list page on my website, ranzee.com. You can go and have a look at that, and you can go through all of my gear and say, he's got one of those and so do I, and I'd love to know something about that, and hopefully I can. If I don't hear anything from anybody, like we did this week, we didn't really have a topic this week, I will probably yeah, go fund Ranzee for Moog 1. Go find everyone for a Moog 1. No, I'll probably do a video on Yamaha XP. This will bring back memories for those who have been around for a while. So sorry, not XP. What am I saying? I'm getting tired. Yamaha XG is a type of MIDI standard that Yamaha brought out in the 90s. And I'm going to do a video on that. If nobody else has anything else they want to talk about. And Yamaha XG kind of is dead now, so we can definitely explore what was around, you know, in the 90s, all the digital stuff that was around then, and I think it's definitely something that's interesting anyway. So if nobody has anything that they want me to do, we'll definitely do that. So I hope you enjoyed this week, which was on the Roland SH-01A and the Boss Flanger, the BF2, or the purple pedal, as most people call it. So yeah, Norman's telling us a little bit about his knowledge with XG. So Norman, definitely check it out next week, because if you've got some knowledge on XG, you can join in on the chat. I'm going to show... I've got two Yamaha things that I'll be bringing out. One is It's a sound module, like a box, and this thing was made in the early 1990s. And hopefully, I haven't plugged it in for a while, hopefully it still works. That I've said I'm going to do it. And I've also got a Yamaha synth, an old digital Yamaha synth, which was the second synth that I ever owned. And I've still got it here, and that's got XG in it as well. So hopefully we can bring them both. I'll probably put the XG synth here to my side, and we'll put the module down here. And we'll go through it. Talk about XG. Other than that, like I said, if you want to insert a topic into this channel, you can definitely hit me up during the week and try and give me a couple of days notice. It would be good. Otherwise, big thumbs up. Don't forget, for any of you that are here right now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If us YouTubers do not ask you to do it, then most of you people don't. So it'd be nice if you did. And other than that, I will bid you a nice Saturday. Thank you very much, and enjoy your phasers and flangers and synthesizers. Have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.